Hello YouTubers, RogueMonkeyJr here, and in today's video we're going to be going over the Aftermarket Collection Event patch notes. Before we start off the video, the link to the full patch notes will be in the description down below, as well as in the top pinned comment. And if you enjoy the video, hitting the like button really helps out the channel, and you could even maybe consider subscribing. But without further ado, let's jump straight into this. Alright, so starting off the patch notes with a little bit from the Crossplay beta. So, since the launch of Apex Legends, Crossplay has been one of the most requested features from our players who want the ability to play with their friends on other platforms. During the Crossplay beta, players will have full access to crossplay functionality while we collect data, test the feature at scale, and most importantly, listen to you, the fans, for feedback. Moving on to the limited time mode called Flashpoint. So Aftermarket delivers an all-new limited time mode, Flashpoint. Played on Kings Canyon, all healing items are removed in favor of massive zones around the map that regen both your health and shields. Read more on Crossplay beta and Flashpoint on the Aftermarket blog. Obviously, link in the description. Moving on to the collection event, Aftermarket brings in another 24 item collection event with skins like Watson's Wired for Speed skin or Wraith's Void Prowler skin. There's also a brand new event prize track, so with a new event also means a new challenge track. This time around, get a chance to get free cosmetics like Bangalore's Blue Chipped or the Hemlock's Performance Boost skin. New Heirloom, obviously, as you all know, Caustic's Death Hammer. So Caustic's Death Hammer is the latest heirloom to be added to the heirloom pool. This Nox-filled hammer will smash anyone who comes in contact with it. Okay, so moving on to the nitty-gritty of the patch notes. For the Legend meta, Rampart increased the rate at which Sheila's bullet spread tightens, which is great because, let's be honest, she really needed a buff. Bloodhound updated Bloodhound's tactical cooldown while ultimate is active from 6 seconds to 8 seconds. So dev note, the 6.0 changes have been extremely powerful for Bloodhound. Their ultimate is now truly a moment you should fear as the enemy. We think we might have gone a little far with 6 seconds. Against a competent Bloodhound, there would only ever be 2 seconds during which you're not scanned. Changing it to 8 seconds means you've got 4 seconds of being revealed and 4 seconds to reposition in between pulses. Pathfinder. Grappling cooldown is now based on the distance Pathfinder traveled. The shortest possible pull has a 10-second cooldown, the maximum cooldown is still 35 seconds, but you're going to have to swing a very long distance to get there. Have fun out there, friends. So dev note, Pathfinder mains rejoice. The Outland's happiest robot is getting some love. Instead of dropping back down the grapple cooldown to 15 seconds where it was before, or moving it to 25 seconds as a compromise, we considered a player's suggestion, thanks Reddit, to have the grapple drain energy as it goes, similar to Titanfall 2. The difference here is we're looking at your full distance traveled, so from the moment you leave the ground to when you're on the ground again, and not sliding at crazy high speeds. What this means is two things. Bad Pathfinder players no longer need to fear the faceplant grapple quite as much. If you're not going anywhere, you're not incurring much of a cooldown. If you're really good at Pathfinder and looking for the absolute max distance grapple, you'll still have a 35-second cooldown, assuming you land it. This both buffs Path a little less for the scariest robot players out there, and it also opens up room for extra skill expression. Can you find useful short distance grapples that'll give you a shorter CD, but still do something good for you? Looking forward to seeing what you all do with this one. Wraith. Updated Wraith's sprint animation. So for the dev note, Wraith is a very challenging legend to nerf. We look at legend performance across a number of axes. How often trios with this legend on them win games / place highly. How often this legend gets knockdowns versus is knocked down. How often this legend is picked. Across each and every single one of these axes, Wraith dominates. And yet each time we hit her abilities, which we've done a lot, she bounces back within a few weeks without bleeding a lot of pick rate. Her kit is uniquely useful both in solo games and in highly coordinated games. Also, she's just really cool, we get it. We don't want to hit her abilities anymore. We think both she and Pathfinder have been pushed to the edge in terms of cooldown and utility nerfs, where pushing them any further would make them a lot less fun to play. We don't want that. So we started looking at other legend-specific things that could give her this power, and discovered that her sprinting animations are unique in how much they artificially shorten her by hunching over, thus shrinking her shootable area from the perspective of the enemy. It doesn't sound like a lot, but taken together with her already small hitbox, it's a lot of power. This patch, we're introducing a new set of sprint animations for Wraith. These are much more upright and expose a larger area of her body to gunfire. Now, we know her old sprint was iconic and we hate to see it go as well, but we believe this is the best way by far of bringing her in line without having to hit her abilities again. Depending on what we see after these animations go live, we may even be able to put some power back into her abilities. No promises though. As always, we will be listening to feedback and monitoring data on this change. Crypto. His drone can now open loot vaults if Crypto has a key in his inventory. It consumes the key as usual. Loba. Increased range of ultimate and passive from 3100 units to 4500 units, and Loba now starts the match with her ultimate half charged, which is pretty damn powerful when you're dropping hot. Weapon meta. Devotion. Increasing hipfire spread at a base level and also increasing the spread added while firing. Spitfire. We tried to keep hipfire numbers consistent with similar weapons of the same class, so the hipfire spread increase on the Devotion is also being applied to the Spitfire. To compensate, we are reducing horizontal recoil on the Spitfire. Triple Take. Reduced fire rate from 1.4 to 1.3. Quality of life updates. So loop prompts now show how much damage an Evo shield has accumulated, so you can make a better decision when switching. You are now also able to switch to same level armor that has less health if it is closer to evolving. Loot prompts will now have a small indicator that lets you know if your teammate needs this item so you can ping it. Performance display is a new option that activates a panel that appears in the top right corner of your screen during a match. The data displayed is as follows: frames per second, latency, the time in milliseconds it takes for your game client to communicate to the server and back, loss indicates the percentage of packet data lost per second on its way to or from the server, choke indicates the percentage of packet data congestion on its way from the server, in/out, the amount of data being sent from and to the server. If you're noticing persistent issues while playing, this display may help you and us identify what's going on. The performance display can be enabled or disabled at any time from your gameplay settings menu. Anonymous mode has been added to the options. Anonymize your name in the champion presentation, obituary, and other locations of living opponents. I would imagine it's to mitigate stream sniping. Level 0 Evo armor will now appear as empty in the inventory, so you can ping to requests for armor. There are more banners placed around World's Edge to better support Crypto's ability to see nearby squads in his drone. Out of bounds. The out of bounds timer no longer refreshes each time you enter a new out of bounds area. The timer is now a fixed amount of time, so 30 seconds. If you enter a new out of bounds areas, the timer will steadily decrease. However, if you only have 5 seconds left, the timer will keep refreshing up to that 5-second mark. This should work against people exploiting the timer while still allowing time for people to get down if they land up there. Random favorite selection added for music and loading screen categories. Holo sprays will now remember which players like them and will display a count to the owner. This also prevents other players from spamming like on the holo spray. Legend tokens have been minimized to a tooltip in the lobby. Hover over your currency to see your amount. Bug fixes, general, added the ability to ping the satellite dish at Crypto's map room from the dropship. Gibraltar fixed an issue with the bubble shield looking white in certain conditions. Lifeline fixed an issue with the Guardian Angel skin having a stretched neck when using Sheila. Fixed an issue where care packages would not be allowed to be placed on certain parts of capacitor, rig, or salvage in Kings Canyon. Caustic fixed caustic barrels from being placed at an angle on shipping crates. Mirage fixed an issue that prevented Mirage decoys from being pinged. Fixed an issue that did not allow Crypto's drone to highlight decoys. Octane fixed a visual issue that removed Revenant's shadow form from a player after jumping off of an Octane jump pad, and fixed an issue with the jump pad clipping into the ground in certain areas. Crypto fixed an issue with his drone not detecting Watson's security fences, fixed an audio issue with Survey Beacon sometimes making very little sound when using it at Crypto's drone, fixed an issue with his drone not taking damage from directly below. Revenant fixed an issue with the HUD of the replicator staying on screen when the totem effect wears off. Loba fixed inconsistencies with teleporting onto a supply ship, fixed an issue allowing teleporting into the drills around Lava Fissure, and fixed an issue preventing teleporting on certain terrain in staging. Rampart fixed an issue with doors closing when dismounting a placed shield in a doorway, fixed amp cover from floating in the air when placed on supply ship, fixed an issue with being able to place Sheila on loot bins, fixed an issue with Longbow DMR, Triple Take Mastiff, and Sentinel not always receiving the amped cover buff, fixed an issue with amped cover being able to be placed at bad angles around the map, fixed an issue with the amped cover not being destroyed by the initial blast of charge rifles, fixed an issue with bullets getting amped before they cross the amped wall from certain angles, and finally, for the L-Star, fixed an issue with overheating occurring when firing a single shot from the weapon multiple times. So that pretty much does it for the Aftermarket Collection event patch notes. Whew, they were long ones, so we have seen a lot of things change with the Legend meta. Some guns have been nerfed slightly, and most importantly, we now have actual information on what is going on when we are getting connectivity issues to Apex Legends. So hopefully this will, improve the servers in time. If Respawn collects enough data from us, the players, to fix certain problems such as prediction errors and packet loss and all these different things, it would be absolutely fantastic. But anyways, if you want to go read the full patch notes for yourself, again, link in the description down below as well as in the top pinned comment. I know this was kind of a long video, so I appreciate you for sticking around. And yeah, I guess it's time for Aftermarket tomorrow. I would imagine at 1 p.m. EST or 10 a.m. PT. But anyways, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.